Dear students of law, Octopus Legal Interactive Musings inviting all of you. How are you all? The topic assigned for today's interaction is self-defense gadgets for women to combat the menace of ever-escalating violence against women. Is it legal to carry pepper spray in our country as an effective self-defense gadget by women? Let us examine the pros and cons and inevitable necessity. In Hindi, आज हम महिलाओं की रक्षक के लिए इस्तेमाल करने वाले चीज़ों के बारे में, उससे प्रमुख पेपर स्प्रे के बारे में, इस देश में पेपर स्प्रे से महिला अपने रक्षक कर सकते के लिए इस टॉपिक को लीगल और एकेडमिक इंटरेस्ट में आज हम देख लेंगे. In Tamil, நம்ம சமாஜத்திலே பெண்களோடு தற்காப்புக்காக என்ன கேட்ஜெட்ஸ் இருந்தான்னு பார்த்தா முக்கியமான தற்காப்பு கேட்ஜெட்ஸ் பற்றி நம்ம லா என்ன சொல்லாச்சு இப்போ பார்க்கலாம். ఇన్ తెలుగు మనం ఈరోజు మహిళల స్వీయ రక్షణ కొరకై ఉపయోగించే పెప్పర్ స్ప్రే మరియు ఇతర గ్యాడ్జెట్స్ ఆత్మరక్షణ ఆయుధంగా ఉపయోగించడం పైన లా ఏం చెప్తుంది అనే అంశాలను అకాడమిక్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్లో పరిశీలిద్దాం. సెక్షన్ 96 ఆఫ్ to 106 of Indian Penal Code contemplates the law relating to the right of private defense of a person and property. These provisions under Indian Penal Code give right to a person to use necessary force against wrongdoer for the purpose of protecting one's own body and property and also another's body and property when immediate aid from the state machinery is not readily available, and in so doing he is not answerable in law for his deeds. Let us examine what the said sections contemplate. Section 96 of IPC contemplates that things done in private defense, nothing is an offence which is done in the exercise of the right of private defense. Section 97 of IPC contemplates that right of private defense of the body and the property. Every person has the right, subject to the restrictions contained in Section 99, to defend, firstly, his own body and the body of another person against any offense affecting the human body. Secondly, the property, whether movable or immovable, of himself or of any other person against any act which is an offense falling under the definition of theft, robbery, mischief or criminal trespass, or which is an attempt to commit theft, robbery, mischief or criminal trespass. Section 98 of IPC contemplates that right of private defense against the act of a person of unsound mind, etc. Section 100 of IPC contemplates that when the right of private defense of the body extends to causing death, the right of private defense of the body extends under the restrictions mentioned in the last preceding section to the voluntary causing of death or of any other harm to the assailant if the offense which occasioned the exercise of the right to be of any of the descriptions hereinafter enumerated, namely, firstly, such as an assault as may reasonable cause the apprehension that death will otherwise be the consequence of such assault. Secondly, such an assault as may reasonable cause the apprehension that grievous hurt will otherwise be the consequence of such assault. Thirdly, an assault with the intention of committing rape. Fourthly, an assault with intention of gratifying unnatural lust. Fifthly, an assault with the intention of kidnapping for abducting. And sixthly, an assault with the intention of wrongfully confining a person under circumstances which may reasonably cause him to apprehend that he will be unable to have recourse of the public authorities for his release. Section 101 of IPC contemplates that when such right extends to causing any harm other than death. Section 102 of IPC contemplates that commencement and continuance of the right of private defense of the body. The right of private defense of the body commences as soon as a reasonable apprehension of danger of the body arises from an attempt or threat to commit the offense, though the offense may not have been committed, and it continues as long as such apprehension of danger of the body continues. Section 103 of IPC contemplates that when the right of private defense of property extends to causing death. Section 104 of IPC contemplates that when such right extends to causing any harm other than death. Section 105 of IPC contemplates that commencement and continuance of the right of private defense of property. Section 106 of IPC contemplates that a right of private defense against deadly assault when there is risk of harm to innocent person. The atrocities perpetrated upon women at present have many manifestations, which include sexual assaults, domestic violence, caste-based discrimination, dowry-related deaths, honor killing, witch hunting, sexual harassment, violence against sexual minorities, trafficking, and forced and early marriages. The Constitution, while according to equality to women, provides for positive discrimination in favor of women in recognition of their social, economic, and educational disadvantages. Our Honorable Apex Court, while interpreting Article 21 of the Constitution in Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, held that right to life embodied in Article 21 of the Indian Constitution is not merely a physical right, but it also includes within its ambit a right to live with human dignity. In Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan, Honorable Apex Court declared that sexual harassment of a working woman amounts to violation of rights under Article 14, 15 and 21 of Indian Constitution. On 15/8/2021, in broad daylight at Paramayakunta on Kakani Road of Guntur district, Andhra Pradesh, a horrifying incident of brutal murder of an engineering student, Miss Nalla Ramya, by the assailant by name Sashi Krishna occurred. The assailant brutally attacked the girl with a sharp-edged knife 6 times and managed to escape from the scene of offense in the presence of several men and women by brandishing knife. At the time of the incident, the unfortunate victim girl gave resistance to ward off the knife blows being inflicted by the assailant several times, while neighboring persons were witnessing helplessly due to fear of the attack by the assailants without going to rescue of the said hapless girl. It is reported that when a woman nearby is ventured to went to the rescue of the said victim girl, the assailant terrorized her by brandishing knife, and due to which she could not venture to go to rescue of her and remained as a mute spectator. Indeed, the scene of offense is located nearby the police station. Had the victim girl armed with self-defense gadgets? or acquired the skills of martial arts, she would have successfully escaped from the strangled clutches of the assailant by offering effective resistance to the assailant, as the nearby women folk were not armed with self-defense gadgets and not trained in martial arts. They could not go to rescue of the said unfortunate victim girl and remained as mute spectators, though the police station is at a stone's throw distance from the scene of offence. Before the police could reach the scene of offence, the assailant completed his heinous attempt on assassination of the victim girl in a barbaric manner. The clamor of the hapless girl, desperately looking for help when the assailant was mercilessly attacking the victim girl with a sharp-edged knife, was recorded in the CC cameras, and it was reported in the media. Even the DIG of Gunturu range criticized that people present at the scene of offence mercilessly failed to go to the rescue of hapless victim woman. Is it true? But that people present there were terrified on seeing the knife yielding assailant. We cannot expect unarmed persons going to rescue of the victims under those circumstances. This gruesome incident once again crops up the concept of empowering women by way of imparting skills of martial arts and equipping women with self-defense gadgets such as pepper sprays, chili sprays, Swiss knife, tactical pen, etc., which do not require any license, for facilitating them in the case of emergency to protect their lives. Apart from IPC and CRPC, there are special and local laws which are administered by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, which include the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, the Sexual Harassment Protection and Redressal Act 2013, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences 2012, Juvenile Justice 2015. These enactments have also failed to curb the escalating offences against girls and women. Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs, in its 230th report on atrocities and crimes against women and children, presented to Rajya Sabha on 15/3/2021 and laid on the table of Lok Sabha on 15/3/2021, recommended that the Ministry of Home Affairs should take up the Ministry of Education to ensure that self-defense training are imparted in all educational institutions as part of their regular curriculum right from the childhood. Similarly, arrangement can also be made to organize such training for working women by identifying government office clusters. Crimes against women and children cannot be controlled by law and enforcement agencies alone. It is important to be strong physically and mentally. Martial art for women is a must. Nowadays, girls and women need to protect themselves and they cannot depend on others for their protection. A woman who knows martial arts can save the life of other women as well. Martial arts is the combination of various techniques like grappling, kicking, punching, etc. to defeat the opponent. I filed writ petition number 180 of 2021 in Honorable High Court of AP at Amaravati, seeking direction to empower women by imparting martial arts and free supply of self-defense gadgets, pepper spray, etc. to protect themselves from the atrocities of the elements at the time of assault. The Honorable High Court directed the state government to examine the concept and take a decision. I submitted representation to the government of AP to examine the feasibility of furnishing self-defense gadgets such as pepper spray, chili spray, tactical pen, taser, etc., free of cost to the women and girls by giving licenses and imposing reasonable restrictions, as carrying the same is not illegal in our country. In furtherance thereof, the Director General of AP directed SPs, DSPs, CIs in the state of Andhra Pradesh to take all the possible measures to empower the women and girl students, encouraging martial arts and by conducting motivational camps. I hope and trust the Union Government of India and state governments will ponder over this concept and empower the women with self-defense gadgets to curb and eradicate the menace of violence against women, students and children. Thank you all.